Hello and welcome to Battle for Azeroth, making sure all the things are enabled. We have got a Temple of Sethraliss. This is the new dungeon that was added just today, and well, let's check it out on a Frost Death Night. So Frost Death Night is actually, it's not really changed much. There's nothing, I'm not gonna lie, it's very similar. So as with all your previous stuff that I always mention, like, you've lost your artifacts. But for Frost, that's not actually, it's not that big of a deal. You know, like, most of the stuff in there was, you know, plus damage, or summon a massive dragon on a long ass cooldown. Apparently I've got my mind on my money. So losing your artifacts, it's not really made that much of a difference, I don't think, personally. So, yeah. It kind of plays a lot like it does on live. You've just got to bear in mind though, certain things are different to what you probably are used to actually seeing and using, and talent choices and such. Make sure I interrupt that. Good old Frost Death Knight AoE is still almost as good as it always has been. You're losing a couple of tiny little things like augmented, what did you call it, Remorseless Winter and Pillar of Frost, granting extra frost damage. Ooh, I got a leveler. Interesting. But for the most part, it's still the same, really. You may have noticed I've taken Glacial Advance. That's, why could I not death grip this thing? Oh, it's on cooldown. Weird. I expected it to interrupt it, but apparently it just went on cooldown instead. Yeah, I'm using Glacial Advance because my haste isn't great. And because my haste isn't great, it means runes come off cooldown at kind of awkward timings. And you can't rely on things. And obviously there's the legendaries as well, you know, like on live I have a legendary, I think it's the belts, and you've got a quite high chance to make a Obliterate refund a rune. So that helps with rune regeneration in addition to haste. Should be really focusing this guy down. So I'm scything away. Put a Glacial Advance through the middle of all that stuff. I'll actually open up the talent tree here, so you can see exactly what I've taken and what hasn't changed, i.e. everything. There might be some slight numerical differences, but obviously due to the number squish it's difficult to even test that exactly. So I've taken Blinding Sleet over Winter is Coming because this is a route now, not a stun. So I can use Blinding Sleet as an emergency, oh shit, everything needs to be interrupted kind of thing. Which is something that you can't do as a Blood Elf anymore. Sounds bizarre, right? It's the truth. Blood Elf racial has been nerfed. It is no longer anything like what it used to be, except for the fact it's AoE. What it is now, it is an AoE purge. That's right, AoE purge. I don't believe that anything else in the game exists that could actually do this, so I suppose it is filling quite a unique role. But yeah, you don't get mass interrupts as a Blood Elf anymore. Okay, so this is a boss. We start out with him being, like, you see that sort of greenish colour that is, that tinge? That means he's empowered with something. Cyclone Strike, you just get away from his front. And I can't remember exactly what it is, but it's like an orb or something that he's carrying. And it makes him do lightning attacks. And when he doesn't have the...
I will enjoy watching you.
This is one of his abilities that he does when he's got the orb, is at 50 energy, I think it is. Oh, fuck me! That did a lot of damage. Friggin' hell. I can't even see where the front of that is. So the way this works is you always want to attack the one that is doing the wind attacks. Cause
Arcing slash.
Arcing Slash, that doesn't sound good. Yeah, Lightning Shield, that's what it is. So when they've got the Lightning Shield, they reflect damage, and also they start doing these lightning-based attacks instead of wind. And basically, I'll just open the dungeon journal. You can see here Temple, oh god, where are you? I can't remember the exact mechanics because there's quite a few of them. But these two guys and they do these different things like conduction, does it 50 energy, static shock, does it 100 energy. I don't know if that was the one thing, that one shot me. It must have done because it does 2,527% of your maximum health. So I don't feel bad getting one shot to that at all because the only way you can actually live through it, by the sounds of it, is immunities. If you hop over that thing. Okay, electrified scale. See that buff he's got? Bang, it's gone. How did that happen? It happened because I'm a Death Knight. Now, that might sound a little odd. How come that can happen? How can Death Knights purge? Well, that's one of the new things that they got in Battle for Azeroth. It is called Reap Magic. It's a 40-yard range, 10-second cooldown. Reap one beneficial magic effect from the target and grants 25 runic power. This is particularly good for Frost because 25 runic power is exactly what you need to do a Frost Strike, which is really nice. So these guys are doing okay. You can see this cloud of shit, that dust over there. Everything that's in there can't be targeted, so the tank has to drag these enemies out of the dust clouds. Otherwise you can't actually kill anything. One dude left. So I will say that at 26% haste, which is a good 8% or so less than I have on live, it does actually feel decent. I thought it would feel terrible, but it's not that bad. It's not that bad. So here's another dust cloud, so nothing's going to hit. So I'm going to try and wait a second before I actually attack. Pop my Pillar of Frost as well, just to get bigger deeps, kill the things quicker. Another talent choice that's different is Icy Talons. Now, the reason I've taken this is because I don't have Antorus 4-piece, and that is the sole reason previously for actually using that talent, because every time that 4-piece talent procs, here's another purge opportunity, bang, every time that 4-piece talent tier set bonus procced, it applied 3 stacks of Razor Ice, so he was able to really frequently add and remove them using Shattering Strikes, but that's not the case. Not having access to that talent means that Icy Talons, I believe, is probably better. And I'm not having any trouble generating any runic power, so I don't think the other option is particularly ideal either. I'll just Death Grip that guy to stop him casting that. Okay, now we've got loads of eggs. I think they're a mechanic for the next boss. So you've got to watch out for these guys. They've got two things as far as I can tell. They've got the Noxious Breath, which is a frontal attack. I don't know if they can still move while doing it, and they've got this Electrified Scales, which obviously Death Knights, Priests, Chamois, all the things that I've got a purge can remove that thing. Spell Steal. I've not really been taking in the visuals of this dungeon actually that much, but if you look around, it's pretty cool. It's like a bit of a Neltharian's Lair kind of vibe to it, with like all the bones of an old... Well, it's not dragons, it's snakes, but super snakes, I suppose. They got to a damn big size if you look at the bones. Electrified Scales again, so we'll purge it. I don't actually know what it does because my instinct just says purge that shit. So I don't actually know what it does. But it gives me 25 runic power, so there's no reason not to, right? Unless you've got a mage that wants to actually spell steal it properly, I guess. Send a Glacial Advance through there. It does nearly 4k damage. It's not bad. It really is not bad. And it's just nice if you're ever stuck on one rune and you've got no runic power to get attenuation proc and stuff like that. It's just nice to have that one ability that you can just spend off in a global cooldown that otherwise you'd just be sat there waiting for 2 or 3 seconds. I don't know why we're taking this really, really long way around. We should be pulling all of it together, to be honest. It's not exactly threatening. Save that proc so we can get them both together. I don't know what Ferric Blast is, but he's going to die before he casts it. I was preparing to Death Grip it, but it wasn't required. And now we've got these guys in the middle. Okay, so they've got... What's that greater healing potion? I'll just use my blinding sleep there. That's what that I quickly instructed all of them was. Just blinds them all temporarily. Makes them disorientated, like. I can probably purge it. Maybe? Yeah, I can. Cool. So these healing effects that they can apply to themselves. Oh god, that's the boss. Careful, dude. Okay, boss time, boss time. Big snake. Let's zoom out a bit, actually. Big snake. So Noxious Breath is a frontal. I believe the tank can move out of the way of that. And it leaves all these pools of shit on the floor. Now the snake's on the ground and it's hatched its little friends. So we kill all the little friends while watching carefully for the dust cloud that's moving around the side of the room over there. Because that's the snake. And it can change direction quite suddenly and attack us. So we just make sure we get out of the way of that. Or it knocks you back and does damage like the mage just got hit then. So it's a bit... The Neltharian's Lair reference kind of comes true again here. You've got this sort of phase where you're not really doing a great deal. Well, I'd say Neltharian's is far worse. So now he's probably in phase 2, which doesn't mean much, he just gets an extra ability. Oh, more snakes. Might not even get to see his extra ability. Where's this dust cloud? There it is, over there. I'm trying to prep in case it's going to hit me to use Death's Advance. I actually used it there. So Death's Advance, I guess I'll talk about that since I haven't already. Death's Advance is a 30-second cooldown, 10-second duration, and it makes you unable to be slowed below a certain amount of normal speed, just like Wraithwalk, and also makes you immune to knockbacks. Let's pop that Pillar of Frost again now that we've got the boss out of the floor. Noxious Breath, don't be in front of it. I think it's going to die before it gets to use its other ability. Yep. So its other ability, which it didn't get to cast, is like a disorientating something, Screech, I guess, something like that. And it's a lot like the things in Karazhan, you know, the Watcher dudes downstairs, where it's like look away mechanic. So what happens is, if you look away from it, and you still take the damage, but if you don't look away from it, you kind of get fucked. Because you're like just wandering disorientated with nowhere to break it at all for about 5-6 seconds. And obviously, losing control of your characters is a thing that you never want, ever. Keep an eye on this agitated Nimbus. We've got some really nice interrupts in this group because of the fact we've got Prop Paladin. Release charge. That sounds nasty. But he's dead. Okay, so this is an interesting little part of the dungeon. It's kind of confusing to look at first, but it's not so bad. Oh god, helps if you zoom in there. So you gotta like weave your way through all these little trap sections. So a couple of people are getting hit, and if you get hit, you get knocked back all the way to the start. It's like the Dead Mines. If you remember when Dead Mines first got reworked in Cataclysm, and you did it on heroic mode, you had that gauntlet at the end. It's kind of like that. It's pretty cool. I think... What are we missing? I don't know. Anyway, let's pop Pillar of Frost and just remorseless winter all these guys. Okay, so I'm going to actually... Oh, never mind. They got rid of it themselves. Let's just cleave. I was contemplating using my Blood Elf Racial for an AoE purge, but couldn't really see the benefit of it because it lost its buff pretty much instantly. So more sort of cavern opening up with all these big snake bones. So as you can see, like with the exception of Glacial Advance, it plays very similar to how it does on live, if not exactly the same, honestly. It's really not changed. It's just that you've got that extra ability, so whenever you see something that's purgeable, you get happy about it because you can get to use one of your new abilities. I've seen this symbol before. It's basically just a barrier, means that you can't go down that path just yet. I'm not sure if this mob here is the thing that unlocks the option to go there. Guess we've got to kill all of them. So it's kind of a little checkpoint thing. Probably have to calculate how much percentage you need on Mythic Pluses, because obviously it seems this little pack has to die for you to be able to progress, so you've got to take that into consideration. If you look at the map, actually... Oh no, the map's broken. It wasn't broken earlier today when I did it. This is the second time I've done this dungeon, which is why I seem like I know what I'm talking about a little bit. Well, that's kind of interesting. Oh, it's the boss! Right, I guess that makes sense why we can't go past that section. Okay, so this boss is a lot like Netherspite from original Karazhan. So you see these pillars that he spawns? They start channeling damage in things into players or into the boss. And if it reaches the boss, it charges him up. See this like stack I've got? I'm like taking increased damage, but I'm standing in it. I'm going to pop anti-magic shell as well to help. And basically his energy goes up and up and up. And once he reaches 100, he's getting ever increasing damage stacks. And at 100 energy, he gains 30% permanent damage, and just does like this massive ability that really fucks you up. But it seems like everyone's doing a really spot-on job of soaking all these little things. I'll start taking over for the tank now. Since he's taking a bit of a beating. Nope. Yeah, everyone's really doing a good job here. He's got no stacks on his energy bar as far as I can tell. But I might have been looking at the wrong thing. It might have been a buff. Either way, he went down pretty easily, and that's the mechanic of the boss. Just make sure that you try and stand in the lightning things for as long as you possibly can. Speaking of lightning things, we've got lightning balls. So we've got to try and... Oop, nope. Yeah, there's one. Down through there. Nice. And then we've got this little gauntlet, which if you got movement speed buffs, it's going to help a lot. Oh god, no! That's misleading. That's very misleading. Let's just Wraith walk through it and interrupt him. I wonder if he's actually death grippable, because that'd stop the trap from even functioning, and that might be a really good way to instantly stop it. And obviously Avenger's Shield and other ranged interrupts would help. I think Avenger's Shield and Shadow Priest are probably the most reliable ones. Okay, this room is weird. Let's see if we know what we're doing. So see over there, there's a green ball. That's what we need to get to. These guys have got no threats whatsoever. They're just random shitlord mobs, and they just fall over. The problem is they respawn eternally. So what we need to do is come over this way, and we need to get to this green blob. It's very important we get to this green blob, because the green blob is what stops them spawning all the damn time. So I'm going to take the green blob. I believe it slows your movement speed by an absolute shitload, and I'm going to head on over to a skull, if I can find the damn thing. Okay, there it is. Oh, it took my orb. Bastard. There we go. Oh, it fucking fell off again. Damn it. Yeah, every time they attack me, it's falling off. Get off! Go away! God damn it. So I'm trying desperately to get on over to the... Oh, Christ! Please, stop! Fuck off! Kill them all! I'm trying to get the ball. Fuck! Stop fucking dropping it! It seems like he knows what he's doing. So you've got to get the orb and take it to the left eye, that empty eye socket. And then you click on there, put the ball in the socket, and the skull opens its mouth, and this whole nightmare ends of the eternally spawning snakes. And then we move forward into this next area, which is where the last boss is, actually. The last boss is very strange. These mobs are essentially the boss. It's sort of an ad encounter that spawns these two different types of mob. and I believe another type as well. So we've got to lock these guys down. The Heart Strike ability is like a frontal, but it's really odd looking, like the graphic for it. So you can see in here we've got the belly of the temple. We've got a Plague Doctor here. He sounds like an absolute swat. Chain Lightning, let's interrupt that. Don't like people getting Chain Lightning. And this thing here is a Plague Toad, and you can see that I just got a debuff saying I do 50% less damage done. So what you need to do as a DPS is basically go to all these frogs. I've soaked loads of them with AMS, and don't let them touch your healer, otherwise they can't heal, basically. God damn it, that's a lot of shit. Can't tell if the no, everyone is protecting the healer. Whether doing it by purpose or not, I don't know for certain, but point is it's getting done, which is important. Healers doing 50% less healing is never a thing that you want to have happen. I didn't realise you could actually attack the things. That's interesting. That one up there. Can I grip him down? Yes, I can. Okay. So it spawns a bunch of ads. Basically, this is the Lithria Dreamwalker from ICC 2.0. Instead of Lich and Scourge ads, you get these snakes, and instead of a green dragon, you've got Avatar thingy-majig up there. Now the healer should be able to just target the Avatar and just heal it. Heal the Avatar. I'll just stick a skull on its head. And we just need to keep watching out for these Plague Toads and any other ads that spawn. I guess I'll just... Actually, it's not. It's kind of bugged. So yeah, it's pretty straightforward. You can see they're like channeling into the Avatar to try and damage it. So we just need to slow them down by killing them completely and utterly. And obviously this is normal mode, so the health of the Avatar, you can see it's going up like crazy fast. And it's all about managing these different types of ads that spawn, which is not being in the frontal attacks of the heart strikes, interrupting when possible, and not letting the frogs touch the healer. The frogs are actually a really big deal, simply because of how it slows you down in actually killing the boss. And when it reaches full health, it one-shots everything. So there we go, one-shot everything, eradicates all enemies, and we killed it anyway by ourselves. And then, yeah, that's it. And then a chest will spawn just here, which we can loot. Get some pretty nice gloves, I guess. Send feedback. And that was the Temple of Sethraliss, and here is Sethraliss herself. Sethraliss is the snake lower, for those of you who know what lower are. It's the god entities that the trolls worship. And all the way in the back of here you can see an area of Vol'dun that I don't think you'd actually get to. It looks like the same sort of art style as the backdrop of Argus. This looks pretty cool nonetheless. So that was the Temple of Sethraliss. I think it's actually a pretty cool dungeon. There's certainly a few things to watch out for. And there's the little lightning spinny trap things that are probably going to be quite entertaining in pugs. We saw one or two people getting bounced around by them, and then on the one that was like travelling across the bridge, I mean that one touched me because I thought I could sidestep it and failed. Yeah, it's quite a cool little dungeon. I do enjoy this one, and although the scenery isn't great, like right at the end here when it opens up, it does look pretty awesome. As for the Frost Death Knight though, the class that I did this dungeon on, if you like this on Legion, you'll probably like it here, because the artifact hasn't truly messed you up too much. Like I said earlier, a lot of the stuff was just generic, more damage, yeah? The one thing that actually I missed the most is actually Mirror Ball, which was the artifact trait that made Anti-Magic Shell dispel all harmful effects upon you, and prevent further effects. Now it's just the prevent further effects thing, like every other spec. So that's actually the thing I miss the most. So if you like it on live, you'll like it here. couple of little tweaks I made with the talents here just to have a different playstyle, but other than that, it's exactly the same as it has been all the way through Legion. So, although it's never been the most exciting spec, it functions perfectly fine. So, if you like Death Knights, good news. It works fine. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.